Right, so that's the big story, of course, right now. It's been a dramatic day there in Bihar. Absolutely stunning defeat for the BJP alliance in Bihar, and an equally stunning victory, naturally, for Lalu Yadav, Nitish Kumar, and perhaps in that order, because really today's day is as much about Lalu Yadav really re-emerging like a phoenix almost. He actually has more seats right now than Nitish Kumar does. But the Mahagathbandhan doing exceptionally well in Bihar. And in case you're just tuning in for some reason, here are the actual numbers as of this moment, and most of these are now being concretized as leads. You have the JDU and the RJD plus 177, the BJP alliance down to 61. So 1/3. The BJP alliance is only 1/3, more or less, the numbers of the Mahagathbandhan out there. So it's an absolutely stunning result, one way or the other. And as I was saying, one of the people who it has to be said is as much his day as anybody else's is Lalu Yadav, because if you look at the breakup of that particular alliance, the RJD has 80 and the JDU has 71. So Lalu Yadav, pretty much the man of the day, it has to be said. And he spoke exclusively to NDTv, to my colleague Barkha Dutt, just a short while back. So let's listen to what Lalu Yadav had to say.
We just saw the joint press conference between the Bihar Chief Minister and Lalu Prasad Yadav, and joining me now is the man of the moment, someone whose party has done stupendously well, is Lalu ji. बहुत congratulations.
बहुत शुक्रिया आपको बहुत।
इस जो रिजल्ट है, इसका राजनीतिक मैसेज क्या है?
इसका राजनीतिक मैसेज पूरे देश पर दूर तक इसका इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा। आपके सामने ही नहीं, मैं हर सभाओं में मैं बोलता था कि यहाँ कोई लड़ाई नहीं है। नीतीश जी के नेतृत्व का जब मैं ऐलान कर दिया तो यहाँ का मैच ओवर हो गया था। मैं ये बोलता था कि असली लड़ाई है हस्तिनापुर का। आपने मुझे बोला दिल्ली की लड़ाई, ये पटना की लड़ाई नहीं, दिल्ली की लड़ाई। ये जीती हुई लड़ाई है। असली लड़ाई है जो बाघ बना हुआ है, जिसने देश को कमिट किया, ठगने का काम किया। देश को अगर इनको एक दिन भी हम लोग छोड़ते हैं तो देश को ये टुकड़ा टुकड़ा कर देगा। आपने देखा होगा कि सारे अपने विकास के एजेंडा को छोड़ करके कभी दादरी, कभी डीएनए की खराबी, पिछड़ों का हक छीनने का बात, ये सारा प्रपंच किया। बिहार के चुनाव में जब इनका पारा गिरने लगा, कोई सुनने वाला आदमी नहीं था, तो ये बिल्कुल चले थे कम्युनल कार्ड लेके भी, गौ मांस का सवाल उठाया। तो मैंने सवाल का जवाब दिया, पूछा इनसे कि जो 40,000 करोड़ का जो तुम बीफ सप्लाई करने का एग्रीमेंट किए हो, जिसमें 5 बड़ी बुचरी है, जिसमें 4 ब्राह्मणों का है और एक कोई मुस्लिम का है, आपने दिया है, और एक है गुजरात में। तो ये हर खेल, हर तमाशा, मतलब मुहर्रम के अवसर पर, दशहरा के अवसर पर इनकी पूरी कोशिश हुई। ये हड़पना चाहते थे बिहार, ये समझ रहे थे कि हरियाणा और महाराष्ट्र है, ये है बिहार। मैंने कहा कि बिहारी लोग उड़ती चिड़िया को हल्दी लगाता है, और लगा दिया हल्दी इनको बढ़िया से। और फिर ये अमित शाह, देखिए अमित शाह क्या बोला कि यहाँ पर जीतेंगे लोग तो पाकिस्तान में पटाखे फूटे, मतलब हम लोग को भी एसोसिएट कर दिया पाकिस्तान से। तो इनको बिल्कुल नकारा है जनता ने। और मैं सबसे पहले छठ के बाद, दिवाली के बाद मैं बनारस जा रहा हूँ।
बनारस क्या करने जा रहे हैं?
लालटेन लेके। मोदी जी की
कंस्टिट्यूएंसी
जो बोले थे कि हम टोक्यो क्या बनाएंगे, क्योटो बनाएंगे, और बुनकरों की बात की थी, कोई गांव चुना था, तो लालटेन लेके हम सर्च करेंगे कि कहाँ कहाँ है, हम होल्ड करेंगे मैसिव रैली। इनका प्लान था, बड़ा सीरियस इनका प्लान था। ही इज नॉट एक्टिंग एज ए प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ द नेशन। मोदी इज ए प्रचारक, और वो प्रचारक का काम कर रहे हैं गवर्नमेंट में बैठ करके। एक भी काम नहीं किया। ये चाहते थे कलकत्ता घुसना, क्योंकि बगल में बांग्लादेश है, इनको बहुत इजी हो जाए पूरे हमारे देश को नष्ट नाबूद करने का। तो बिहार की
बांग्लादेश से क्या लेना देना
तय करेंगे। हर मुस्लिम को कलकत्ता में बोलेंगे बांग्लादेशी है, निकलो। लुंगी पहनने वाला, गंजी पहनने वाला, आप जानती हो, पुराना जर्नलिस्ट हो। ये बहुत खतरनाक डिजाइन था। इसको हम लोगों ने बड़ी सीरियसली लिया और काफी मजबूती के साथ, चाहे जो भी आ रहे थे सर्वेक्षण, इसको हमने नकारा। और
आपने सर्वे से आप घबराए नहीं, जो सर्वे गलत है?
हाँ, हम चूंकि हम रात दिन 1 लाख आदमी का सर्वे एक मीटिंग में रोज में करता था, हाथ उठवाता था बोलने के बाद कि इसको जितावेंगे कि नहीं, माला पहनावे कि नहीं, सब एड़ी अलगा के सब लोग बोलते थे हाथ उठा के माला पहनाओ। तो नीतीश 1 लाख, एक मीटिंग में 1 लाख हम, और 9 मीटिंग हम करते थे 9 लाख समझो। तो हमको कहाँ अविश्वास था बिहार की जनता पर, हमारी महिलाएं, हमारी बेटियां जो बिल्कुल तबाही के कगार पर है, दाल नहीं मिल रहा है, सारा सामान महंगा है, सारा तंग, और बड़े पैमाने पर आप लोगों ने देखा होगा कि महिलाओं ने वोट किया है काफी।
अच्छा लालू जी, जो लोग कहते हैं कि आपकी पार्टी का परफॉर्मेंस इतना अच्छा रहा कि अब लालू जी एक्चुअल बॉस रहेंगे इस सरकार के।
हम तो, हमारा छोटा भाई है
नीतीश जी,
आज भी हमने बिना रोड़ी के तिलक कर दिया अभी, वो असली पक्का होता है।
लेकिन डेप्यूटी चीफ मिनिस्टर आप ही का रहेगा।
ये सब बात करके हम लोग कोई चीज बात।
अच्छा, मोदी जी के लिए मैसेज और अमित शाह के लिए मैसेज।
मोदी अमित जी को हमने कहा था कि भाई अब आप इस्तीफा देके आप गुजरात जाओ, वहाँ टेक ओवर करो अपना गुजरात। मोदी जी और अमित शाह जो है गुरु चेला दोनों, अब चले जाइए आप। हम बार बार पूछते रहे अमित शाह से कि अपना जात बताओ और रिलीजन बताओ।
क्यों ये क्यों पूछा?
आप पूछना, अभी हम नहीं बोल रहे हैं। आप एक दिन पूछ लो कौन धर्म को मानते हो और कौन जात को, नहीं बता रहा। हम ना जानते हैं कि क्या इसके बाद पेच निकलेगा।
आप क्या इम्प्लाई कर रहे हैं, थोड़ा खुल के बताइए।
अरे अभी तो हम पूरा नरेंद्र मोदी जी से पूछे बार बार कि सारा कार्यक्रम छोड़ के आप, कोई बिजनेस का भी मैटर नहीं था, दुबई जो आप गए थे, किससे मिलने आप गए थे?
ये आपने मुझे पहले भी कहा। अब आपने कहा चुनाव के बाद मैं बोलूंगा।
मैं बोल दूंगा ना, मैं बोलना, थोड़ा यहाँ काम हम कर लेने दीजिए
जी।
और इनको किससे मिलके आप आ गए जल्दी? ये कौन आदमी था?
आपको क्यों लगता है कि वो तो अपनी ऑफिशियल ट्रिप पे गए?
मैं बताऊं, कोई ऑफिशियल ट्रिप नहीं था, सारा कार्यक्रम छोड़ के गए थे। कौन सी अर्जेंसी थी? किस महानुभाव से आप मिले हैं? किससे नेगोशिएशन आप किए हैं? बताइए मोदी जी।
अच्छा, अब आप और नीतीश नेशनल स्टेज पे भी उतरने वाले हैं, क्या ये हम माने कि ये प्रदेश का चुनाव नहीं, इससे नेशनल राजनीति बदलेगी?
पूरे देश की राजनीति एकदम बदल रही है, हर जगह बदल जाएगी राजनीति। जो लोग बिल्कुल सुस्त बैठे हुए थे, जो डेमोक्रेटिक फोर्सेस है, सेकुलर फोर्सेस है, तो बिहार ने उनको राह दिखाया। हम लोग जाएंगे, हम जाएंगे, नीतीश यहाँ काम में लगे रहेंगे।
जिन्होंने आपको जंगल राज का ताना दिया उनको आप क्या बोलेंगे?
जंगल राज का तो मिल नहीं गया था इनको। हम कहा जब ये जंगल राज है तो भाग हमारा जंगल से, तो भाग तो क्या सब।
तो आज जंगल का राजा कौन है फिर? आज जंगल राज है तो जंगल का राजा कौन है?
सारा जंगल का राजा यहाँ भरा हुआ, जितना बिहारी लोग है सब जंगल का है।
आपको लगता है ये बिहारी वर्सेस बहारी जो?
अरे जब रिजल्ट हो रहा था ये टीवी में नहीं देखा, भालू रोक के फुकवा रहा था।
लालू जी, बच्चों ने भी अच्छा जीते, आपके बेटों ने, तो उनकी राजनीति में अब क्या रोल रहेगा? सरकार में आएंगे वो?
अरे बच्चे हैं, बच्चे लोग हैं, सब सीखेगा, जानेगा।
और नीतीश जी को क्या एडवाइस देंगे? आपने कहा मेरे छोटे भाई हैं, उनको क्या एडवाइस?
हम एडवाइस देते रहते, वो नहीं बताएंगे।
नहीं बताएंगे। Well, the inimitable Lalu Prasad Yadav there in his first interview after the victory. And Lalu ji, thank you so much. हमसे बात करने के लिए बहुत लोग आ गए आपके पास।
Thank you.
नाराज मत होइए, आज सेलिब्रेशन का दिन है।
You are brave and I am always I appreciate you.
Thank you, Lalu ji.
Brave lady.
Thank you,
Not
Lalu ji.
lady, you are male.
No. As I said, the inimitable Lalu Prasad Yadav in his first interview on television after this dramatic victory for the Mahagathbandhan.
Well, I tell you a couple of things about Lalu Yadav. First of all, he is always fantastic television, and there's very few politicians quite like him. And number two, don't ever write him off, because this is the second, third, fourth time that I can think of in the last 15 years that he's been written off by people saying, well, he's going to really be, he doesn't have a future. And there he is, he bounces back and he's done it once again. But clearly the central message of what he said in that exclusive interview to NDTv was that this is a landmark because it is going to change politics. Bihar was already one. Bihar, we always knew was going to be one. We were fighting for Delhi. And we are now going to make a massive change. And that's really the focus that we've been doing for the last hour. We'll continue for another 1 hour to take a look at some of the implications of the Bihar mandate now for national politics and also for the economy. What is going to happen in the next few weeks and months? What sort of impact is Bihar going to have? Sheshadri Chari right here with us in the studio now joining us, as indeed is Rana Ayub, but we are now being joined by Jaiveer Shergill, spokesperson of the Congress Party. Aman Sinha is joining us from the BJP, and we do have Abhay Aima, Director HF Securities, joining us as well, and Professor B.B. Bhattacharya, who might be telling us a little bit about what they're expecting to happen on the policy front, because a lot of eyes are going to be focused on Bihar. And perhaps, Abhay, actually, why don't I ask, let's just step aside from politics for a minute. So, Abhay, why don't I come to you, because obviously the entire business community, the markets, everyone's been really looking at Bihar to saying that this is a very, very important and a landmark election. What sort of a signal do you think they're going to take from what's happened?
No, I think the signals were very clear right from 2014. There is this 3 to 5% of additional voting that you are seeing, not in this election, but in all the last 5 elections. So there are very few, very clear indicators by the, the voters that A, decisive mandates are being given. B, if you talk on development and positivity, you are likely to win far better than going into the age-old way of caste, religion, negativity. And 3, that if you don't deliver of what you have promised, then the patience level is very low.
So, Abhay, would it be your assessment?
The important thing is 3 to 5% who's voting on the development plan. And
right. So Abhay, I mean, I take what you're saying, and we've spent a lot of time now discussing that maybe the sort of cow and communal type politics is hopefully going to be behind us, at least for a period of time, because Bihar does show that it doesn't necessarily work. I hope I am correct in saying that. Who knows? Maybe it will surface in some other dimension. But from the point of view of reform, from the point of view of
by-elections, it was in Delhi.
Yeah, that's true, but it always does seem to keep surfacing back. But from the point of view of policy reform and change, would it be your expectation that there are two views actually? One view has been that if the BJP had won in Bihar, it would have pressed the reform agenda, it would have moved much faster, you would have seen dramatic changes happening. Now the BJP is lost and has been routed in Bihar. There are some who would still argue that that means that doesn't necessarily mean that they will not press ahead with change and dramatic reform and so on and so forth, because that's one way of capturing of stating that that's the agenda very firmly.
See, Vikram, if you look at, if you have to do a relative thing, because everything is relative. If you look at the 5 years of UP and look at what BJP has been doing or the NDA has been doing in the last year and a half, I think they have been doing a much better job. But if you go to 10 years of UP, then maybe there are question marks. But so it's a relative thing. But having said that, what has happened in the past year and a half is, while it is moving ahead, the expectations were very high. So clearly, it's not lived up to those high expectations. But which is also understandable. But what is more scary, or what is more sad, is that there seem to be an election mode throughout. Now time has come to get down to governance. So it's not only reforms. I think they're doing enough on the reforms front, which is possible within the the political dispensation that is there. But they need to concentrate on governance. So there is a governance deficit that is there, because there seem to be electioneering. And the second big problem is the lack of experience. I mean, there seems to be a clearly and the perception that is being created, and the short-term perception is greater than reality.
All right, Abhay, thanks for that perception, Mr. Bhattacharya. Would you agree on what is the sort of steps that you would like to see? Because we've been talking about what could happen politically, on the economy, on reforms, on governance. Do you see dramatic changes? Is Bihar good or bad for the economy, the Bihar election?
No, the first is, both Modi and Nitish Kumar has created a perception of pro-development. But there is a big difference in their approach to development. Modiji's development program so far, high-tech, high capital, mega projects. Nitish Kumar's development initiatives, grassroots level, micro projects. Small initiatives at the village level. So there is essential difference in the approaches between the two. Now the question is, will Nitish Kumar be able to continue his development agenda which he had initiated for the last 10 years, or will RGD necessitate a change in his development strategy? That's one of the things
in Bihar, but looking at it from the central point of view, what lessons do you think the central government is going to draw from whatever happened in Bihar?
First is, Modi government should realize they came to power on development agenda, promising a lot on employment.
Okay.
Instead, meanwhile, they somehow got diverted to lots of unwarranted things. We have already discussed this. If they come back to the core issue, in the core issue, they can't get away by simply saying we can't implement any of the new idea because of lack of opposition. It is the task of the government to carry forward all the political party, because electorate will not like to hear, oh, I could not do the job because opposition did not allow me to do the job.
Okay, Aman Sinha, you heard what both of them had to say, and we're getting some sort of economic advice, if you like, into the program now. So, what is your sense? Will the lessons from Bihar be therefore accepted and understood? I know the Prime Minister keeps saying our focus has always been development, but now an acceleration there, an acceleration in getting the economy on track and making sure it goes to 8-9%, driving other things, and a silencing of some of the noise that we are seeing, which has, instead of development, really taken center stage.
Vikram, first of all, let me congratulate the Nitish Lalu alliance and their partners Congress for their splendid performance in the Bihar Assembly elections. Bihar's voter also needs to be congratulated for a largely violence-free election and a very high voter turnout. At the same time, Vikram, let me point out the fact that, despite the number of seats that we have been able to win or that we are leading right now, even today in this present assembly election, BJP is the party which has polled maximum number of votes in Bihar. And in fact, we are by far ahead. We are around 25%, and Lalu is somewhere around 18%, and Nitish is somewhere around 16%. So in no way it can be termed as a defeat for BJP.
That often happens in a first-past the post system, Aman, so I'm not sure you should take
Lalu
too much
and
comfort
Nitish,
from that.
they have got their arithmetic correct, Vikram.
Yeah, but in many first-past the post systems that happens. It's not unusual.
No, that's all right. I'm just saying that for people to draw their sweeping conclusions and pass blanket judgments without factoring in this particular fact that the highest number of votes coming from Bihar are for the Bharatiya Janata Party. So they should not draw any sweeping conclusions. It is right that they have won, and the arithmetic they have got in their favor. They have, factored all these things in correctly, the caste combinations, etc. Congratulations to them. But however, you cannot take away from the fact that the people of Bihar have voted in favor of BJP, and the highest number of votes are being polled in favor of BJP. Now, other point with respect to economic reforms, etc., Vikram, let me say that today all the macroeconomic numbers are very encouraging. They are pointing out to a excellent economic picture which is there presently, and we are only going to improve our situation in the coming days. Now, if you see the growth rate, our growth rate is highest anywhere in the world on a relative scale. If you see any large economy, the investments coming into this country are highest. We have surpassed China, we have surpassed USA, and we have the highest FDI coming into this country. We have doubled of what we had last year around this time. So the inflation rate is low. It is right. Some commodities,
so
it has gone very high. That is all understandable.
It's a glass half full, as you well know, it's a glass half full.
But
yes,
the point that I am making is to draw sweeping conclusions on basis of a state election.
Right, Aman. Javid, if I...
Sorry, Vikram, can you just repeat briefly?
Aman, I hear what you're saying. So, yes, there are certain changes in the economy, but I think what I'm also asking is, I'm trying to figure out what the focus and the priority will be. Javid, to your mind, after the Bihar elections and the results that we've seen
now, the focus and priority will be to take this good work, take it forward with even more momentum. And we expect the support of other opposition parties and other parties also in parliament when the parliament session starts.
Okay, Javid, so he's saying even more momentum now on economic reform and change and driving the economic agenda. Would you agree with that? Or do you think there will be a bit of a siege mentality now when it comes to the BJP in Delhi? Especially because now there will be a perception that it's going to be really tough to get those numbers in the Rajya Sabha for a long period of time, because it's certainly not coming from Bihar. So for the BJP now to pass things through the Rajya Sabha is going to be a real problem for several years.
Vikram, I think the answer lies in the fact and the reason of their losses. I said it on your channel in the afternoon also. The BJP's loss is attributable to 4 Ds: Dal, Dalit, Dadri and divisive tactics. Now all these four Ds are responsible for their defeat. Now you are talking about economic reforms. I ask a question to myself.
The Congress party has
we have
come a
only
poor
seen
force.
glacial pace
We
of
have polled the
reforms in the
maximum
past 17 months. The real question is, did even these whatever reforms my friend Aman Sinha is saying, did they trickle down to bottom? We are not going to cook these magical mathematical figure and statistics in the kitchen. Dal is 200, petrol is at
Obviously,
X
it's
price.
going to
You
trickle
have
down and percolate
sliced down social welfare schemes to a huge number. So are we just doing these reforms for window dressing for international rating
No,
agencies,
absolutely
or
not.
somebody is getting the real
In
benefit
fact,
of it?
we are disbursing more to all the state
election
governments
phase,
in spirit
over
of
5
cooperative
phases,
federalism.
only the first phase was oriented towards development in the BJP's tone and tenor. The second, third, fourth, fifth phase, BJP
Yeah, David,
lost
we get it, and
focus.
that, and
the
obviously
word
it didn't
development
work.
got
So
missing.
hopefully one of the lessons in this, and it didn't work. So hopefully one of the lessons in this will be
that
to
will
say
be
divisiveness
incorrect,
doesn't
Vikram.
work. But okay, I'm going to take a break right now, and then I want to come back to all of you and ask that second piece
No,
of
but
question that
Vikram,
I'm
let me
asking.
say that as far as we are concerned, our agenda was development.
I get it, but I'm
Vikram,
going to throw it open
no,
to the
if I can
entire
Your
panel.
package became Pakistan, your development became beef politics. Package
please
became
allow me to
Pakistan,
respond.
development became beef politics, and you're reaping the, you were
No,
paying the
our
price
focus
for it
has
today.
always been
so
development.
it is high time BJP
it is the
wakes up
Congress and
smells
other
the coffee.
parties who
In
are
the
carrying forward with the divisive agenda. And when they bring all these misleading facts in the public domain, obviously we have to dispel all that incorrect notion. We have to put forward all the facts.
Mr. Aman
Just like
Sinha,
some
don't
facts which are being
insult the
stated
verdict
here,
of
we'll have
people
to
of
put forward all
Bihar
the
today.
facts. That even today, the maximum number of votes which are being polled, the Biharis have voted in favor of the BJP. It is only the caste
Aman, that's a
arithmetic,
really
which
strange
has gone in
argument
favor
to
of
be
the
using on a
this
day when
Mahagadbandhan
you've got
they are winning.
Vikram,
your alliance has got less than 60
Vikram,
seats.
they
and the
got
opposite- they've got
282
177.
MPs with
You can't say that the people
31%
of Bihar
vote
voted
share.
for you.
But I am only stating a fact.
Yes, because
I am
that's
only
the way
stating a fact.
That's where the logic
that
of
we have
any
got the
arithmetic.
maximum number of votes. There is nothing wrong in that.
All right, we'll come to the vote shares, and I promise you, I'm going to take a break, come back to the vote shares. I'll show you what the vote shares really mean when we return after this break. But I'm going to take a break right now because I want to ask all of you, in your wisdom, to help us understand what Bihar also means for the Rajya Sabha. Because as I was saying, one of the major things that we now need to look for is Parliament is going to become really interesting, because though the BJP has got a complete lock on the Lok Sabha, what the Bihar election means is that in the Rajya Sabha, it's going to be a fairly prolonged period where the NDA will not have the numbers. Is that going to change politics? Is that going to change the way that Mr. Modi and the BJP are going to have to interact with the opposition? I'll turn my attention to that when I come back after this break. Welcome back. Well, as promised, Aman Sinha was just making the point that the BJP actually got more votes than any other individual party there. So, Aman, I'm just going to take 2 minutes to take you through the numbers and show you why that argument perhaps is not entirely correct or accurate, and why I'm saying that, and then we can discuss it. Now, this, for example, Aman, is what the actual vote shares are. So, RJDU, JDU alliance has got 43%. BJP alliance has got 35%, so it's 8 behind that, others 22, which a lot of them would be independents. Now,
Vikram,
Aman, the point...
I will request you to look at the political parties individually.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that, so I have it lined up for you right now. Can we just show him now the political parties individually? Aman, you're correct. The BJP is 26%, so it's got more votes than either the RJD or the JDU. But, Aman, and here's the point that you've got to appreciate, is that each of those only contested 101 seats. The BJP contested more seats than either of them, which is why, to some extent,
That's all right.
this is what always happens.
I'm not
So if
contesting
you're having
that,
a situation...
but what I'm saying is that...
Yeah. So the BJP...
No, the Samajwadi Party also contested large number of seats. You know, look at the fact, Vikram, that Nitish Kumar, who was 115,
I think the
has come down to nearly half, and he's been painted as the hero of this. It's all right, we congratulate him, that's fine.
Aman, the
but we
limited
have
point
to look
that I'm
at the
trying to
data
make
objectively.
is, the limited point that I'm trying to make is, and you should know because this is exactly the argument the BJP used to make in reverse about the Congress party. If the BJP, which has contested 157 seats, RJD and JDU each individually only contested 101. So yes, you would poll more votes than either of those parties. But the correct way to really look at it is to put the entire alliance together, because you didn't leave as many, they left a lot of seats for each other. If you add them up, it's 36% to 26%.
No,
and if you
everybody
page,
can have a way of looking at it, but I'm only making a point,
and I can show you,
only making a factual point, that the political party which polled the maximum number of votes is the Bharatiya Janata Party in this election.
What you're saying is factually correct, but I'm trying to explain to you why that is.
I don't
not the
contest
right
what
way
you're
to look
saying,
at it.
but I'm
anyway,
also
we spent
stating a
enough time
fact
arguing
which I'm
about
sure
this.
you
What
will not
happened with the
contest.
others? Congress also got 7% and the others got small. Okay, let's move away from this analytical point, which was worth looking at and debating. I want to come back. Rana, let me get you in on this point, on the other issue I was referring to just before the break, and I want to get Sheshadri Chaudhary and the others to talk about it. Are we now looking at a situation that when it comes to what's going to happen in Parliament, there is an issue that the BJP and Mr. Modi are going to have to look at? There's no major bonanza coming in the Rajya Sabha from Bihar now. In fact, the Rajya Sabha seats from Bihar are going to be very clearly with the opposition. So maybe the entire approach to how we're going to talk to the opposition and try and get bills through may have to change. Rana, you.
Well, Vikram, this victory in Bihar will not mean a significant change of numbers in the Rajya Sabha. But what it will certainly do is it would have given that bit of space to Narendra Modi in the Rajya Sabha for that bit of credibility to push in reforms, to push in major reforms. Now that advantage for the BJP is lost. Also, the investors who were, it's a big turn-off. This kind of victory is a big turn-off for investors. For the markets. So the kind of reforms that the BJP has been planning to push through for the ever since it has come to power, it has come to power on the basis of good governance. I think that, that entire mantra is lost in the process with this kind of mandate, because, it has lost some kind of credibility. Also, Vikram, I've been wanting to make a point on a slightly different note. That the BJP is trying to mimic the same kind of blunders that the Congress has been making on the national level, which led to its decimation in the Lok Sabha, which is that it refuses to cultivate local leadership. And one of the reasons why the BJP lost so badly in Bihar this time is because, if you look at Delhi, despite having great reasonable faces in Delhi, in local leadership, it suddenly pulls out Kiran Bedi at the last minute. It props up a Kiran Bedi without consulting with any of the Delhi-based leaders. Same thing takes place in Bihar. You do not consult Sushil Modi.
All right, Rana, we heard you.
You have Narendra Modi and Amit Shah on all posters.
All right, Rana, we heard you. Sheshadri Chari, I think the points that we are continuing to hear, as always happens after a big defeat like this, is the need for introspection and the need for change and a need for a certain different style of functioning. Do you think that's pretty much on the card? And if it is done, who knows, this might well end up turning out to being a blessing in disguise if it can galvanize the government and the party into thinking of how to approach some of these issues. Because I'll tell you why I'm saying that. On the Rajya Sabha, for example, I take Rana's point. Today there wouldn't have been a change in the Rajya Sabha. But if the BJP had got 180 seats in Bihar, that many more Rajya Sabha seats coming, they could have said, well, all right, don't worry about not being able to push through things in the Rajya Sabha right now. A year, 2 years later, we will eventually get the numbers and then we'll do changes. Now that's not going to happen. The style of functioning may have to change.
Even if BJP had got 200 seats in Bihar, the Rajya Sabha effect is not going to take place for the next 2 to 3 years.
Right.
A. B. You cannot conduct the economic business of the country only depending on Rajya Sabha. Ultimately, for any political party, what former Prime Minister Narasimha Rao said applies to all political parties at all the times. Let us have a politics of consensus. Major economic agenda can be brought about only through consensus. This is what we saw in West Bengal.
And would that be the advice that you would give and the RSS would give, that start adopting the polity of consensus set aside some of the divisiveness of the recent past,
I
make
think-
openings to the opposition parties, end intolerance,
I think
unfollow some of the trolls on
I
Twitter.
think if you keep the Bihar election out of the picture, this is what the Prime Minister has also been saying. Even on the land bill, he said, I agree the land bill was your bill, we support it. Now I am requesting you to support us. If there are any changes, please come out, and it has been referred to the parliamentary committee.
Okay.
The suggestion to refer the land bill to parliamentary committee was also made by a Congress member himself, a Congress person. I don't want to name him openly, but that suggestion came from the Congress and we accepted it. And
Okay.
now there is a suggestion that land bill can be deferred forever and left to the states. So I think the broad point that I am trying to make is, too much emphasis is laid on two things. One, the Bihar results, and two,
But naturally, today you would have expected a lot
obvious,
of the
Vijay,
focus to
very
be on the
obvious,
Bihar
very obvious. We are
results.
here to discuss Bihar, so it's obviously going to be. But the first question that you asked, I would like to dwell on it a little bit. As far as I think the economic agenda is concerned,
Right.
the Congress party also has been all along saying that it is our economic agenda that you are carrying forward.
Okay, JB, so let me throw it at you, JB. The need for the politics of consensus, and that we've been hearing from Shashadri now for a while, is that music to your ears? And by the way, will the opposition be open to that if you have a slightly more conciliatory government saying, okay, let's work together, let's talk together, let's try and get some bills together, let's start with the GST. Is the opposition going to be constructive?
That's a welcome change in the tone from the BJP camp because Vikram, after the 2014 victory, the parliament is become hostage or victim of BJP's arrogance and overconfidence that we are holier than thou and we know it all kind of approach. So hopefully this result will sober down the arrogance of the BJP brigade, open channels of communication, and we will work towards consensus building. Also, another small point I want to make, I think BJP's has been slightly out of focus. They are not feeling the pulse of the people. They are misreading and misjudging, and Bihar is a living example of them. I think that will push them a little bit more towards realistic policies implementation, and we take all-inclusive approach and taking suggestions from people. I heard Mr. Shadri is talking about land bill. I'm sorry to say that was a bitter pill they had to swallow out of sheer political public pressure, and I hope this election result acts as another public and a political pressure to do some kind of a course correction.
We are starting to get out of time. Abhay Aima, politics of consensus is the call that seems to be coming now from Shadri Chari and others. If there is a sobering down, could this end up actually being a blessing in disguise now for the economy?
I hope so. I mean, any sensible party would look at it that way, and I assume that, and for the sake of the country, because no matter what, for the next 3 years, 4 years, you have BJP government, so we should at the center, and so from the country's point of view, we would like to see that they are able to carry on the economic agenda, the reforms as well as they can. And only thing is, and I think they're doing a good job. The only thing is they need to, stop letting the opposition within the BJP change their focus and create a perception which is, doing damage to all the good work that they're doing.
All right, keep their focus. Maybe that's going to happen. Okay, I have to take another break. We'll be back in just 2 minutes after that. Don't go away. Welcome back. Well, we were talking a short while back to Lalu Yadav, one of the key men of the match, if you like, today. But also Prashant Kishore, somebody else who's been spoken about, and that war room that was set up, which really ran circles, as it eventually turned out, around the war room that the BJP has often been legendarily known for in recent times. So Ketike Ange got a chance to go inside that particular war room and take a look at exactly what happened and spoke to some of the people who helped Nitish Kumar win with that thumping majority.
The winner is certain, but the work continues, and backing a huge team that was led by Prashant Kishore are both central core member teams, but also those who worked as volunteers. You are a lawyer by profession, but you've been part of not just this process of the Bihar elections, but also during 2014 when he was actually helping shape the campaign for the current Prime Minister. What has this experience been like, and what keeps you going?
I mean, this experience, firstly, it's a new field where we have ventured. We tried to do this in general elections, and now we have replicated and proved the theorem otherwise as well, that a professional group like this can actually go and make a valuable contribution and make that decisive contribution in the victory or loss. So when we came here in March, probably it'll be correct to say in assessment of everyone and in our assessment as well that Mr. Nitish Kumar was not as part of the political discourse. He was number 3, he was just lost Jitin Ram Manji as the CM, so he was being targeted for a lot of wrong reasons. Since then, if I look at the numbers today, that has changed a lot, and probably the entire team here, plus Prashant's contribution has been immense into this.
You were actually in the US, you've done an MBA with strategy, and then you came back, you've been associated with IPAC for about 6 months. Was there never a problem from home wondering, what are you doing?
No, absolutely not. I think they were more curious and interested to know exactly what was happening. I come from a family where political discussions can be quite lively, so they were always genuinely interested to know exactly what's happening on ground.
All right, I'm going to have to leave it there just for the moment. My colleague Barkha Dutt is going to be joining us in just a few minutes to continue to take us through all aspects of what actually happened in Bihar. But just in case, one more time before I go, let me just show you the final numbers. So that's what it is. These are the leads positions. 178 for the JDU-RJD, 59 for the BJP alliance, and 6 for others. And within that, in case you're wondering how many of these are actual results, which are therefore frozen in stone, those are the numbers: 229 out of 243. 169 for the JDU-RJD are frozen results, and 56 for the BJP alliance. So it's a complete thrashing for the BJP alliance and a big victory for Nitish and Lalu. That's it for me. Barkha takes over in just a couple of minutes.